Hello there, I hope you enjoyed that magnificent intro. My name is Robin Molasig, and today I will be teaching you about Federalist 10 and the role of factions. Okay, first off, what are factions? The definition of factions in our textbook is groups arising from the unequal distribution of property or wealth, or when you search it online, a small organized dissenting group within a larger one, especially in politics. Some examples of factions are interest groups or parties. Factions are kind of like siblings when you think about it. They can either disagree with each other, like each other, and agree, or they can be completely indifferent, like this little boy over here who's eating pizza while his baby sister is sleeping or something. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to assume that most of you understand the background to my topic, so in this slide I'm going to include a little timeline featuring little events that lead up to the time era where my topic is most prevalent, so you can skip it, you can watch it, you can come back to it, it's your choice. So to support the Constitution and everything it stood for, James Madison and all the other Federalists created what were called the Federalist Papers. Specifically in James Madison's Federalist Paper number 10, he talked about how conflict was the cause of factions. Mainly, the distribution of wealth, which in that time was mostly land, was the main source of conflict. James Madison emphasized that if unchecked, one faction would eventually tyrannize the other. In the case of this time era, the poor majority would try to take over the government to reduce the rich minority's wealth, and the rich minority would try to take over the government to secure their own wealth. Resulting from this would be instability, tyranny, and sometimes even violence. If checked, however, James Madison said that the effects of factions could be reduced, if not eliminated overall. James Madison eventually took these ideas and implemented them into what we call the Madisonian model. The main points made in the Madisonian model are that 1. As human beings we are self-interested, meaning that we're selfish and that we think for ourselves and only for ourselves. 2. That again, inequalities of wealth are the main source of political conflict. 3. That the non-wealthy majority is more dangerous than the wealthy minority, meaning that the non-wealthy majority could simply outvote the wealthy minority in a perfect democracy, meaning that the wealthy minority's voice is silenced. And 4. That a key purpose of government is to protect private property. To combat the selfish nature of human beings, the Madisonian model created a plan of prevention that placed less direct control over the government in the majority's hands by giving them the House of Representatives, whereas the minority had Senate and special electors. Also, this is the place where a separation of powers, checks and balances, a federal system, and pluralism were all established. All of these concepts were created in an effort to reduce the influence the mass majority had in politics. Not that their ideas were bad, the Founding Fathers just didn't want the minority, aka most of them, to lose all their power for the sake of democracy. The separation of powers and checks and balances are especially important to modern government because these concepts define the basic symbiotic and sometimes painfully conflicted relationship between different branches of government.
Dance, dance, dance. Cats like mouses, cats like meat, cats like boxes, cats like sleep, cats like lasers, cats like running, cats like birds, cats like hide-and-go.
As a result of the idea of factions, James Madison's Federalist 10 and his Madisonian model, a constitutional republic was born. People now have a much larger voice in politics, mainly in the form of electing representatives who speak for them. Also, interest groups, as a place where people place themselves based on opinions and beliefs, find their roots in the personalization aspect of factions. And lastly, these concepts are a huge reason why decision-making in our government can be extremely slow. Usually, politicians in favor of a certain action must win many battles to have it carried out, whereas opponents merely have to win a single battle. While it may seem like a bad thing, this meticulous process actually promotes compromise and cooperation in our government that allows for gradual, reasonable change to occur rather than sporadic fluctuations.